What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a very slow stock market. The good news is we have earnings reports. So this basically means companies announce their earnings, stocks jump, stocks drop down, it creates volatility, thumbs up. There you go. That's all there is to it. So what we're looking at here today is going to be Tesla. Tesla is a stock that reported earnings last night. They had a downward move, wasn't really that big overall. I mean, it really was big. I mean, from 744 to 715 is a big move, but we've seen bigger. Nonetheless, what I was looking for today on Tesla is to see if we would get back in between these dotted white lines here. I know there's a lot of stuff going on, but this one and this one, long story short, that is long-term resistance marks. They're not very strong ones, though. So you can see we dropped to them. We tried to bounce. We broke down. We came back up, hit resistance, came back down, bounced, hit them again as resistance. So for now, Tesla is respecting this price point of 724 as true resistance. Therefore, we can only really look to be extremely long biased Tesla on a good reversal bounce or a break up and through 724. Otherwise, it's probably going to go a little bit lower. Initially this morning, I wanted to be long bias when we were going up trying to get through. Now that I've seen us reject and hold below, we're going to stay on the downside until we're back reclaiming prices of 724. Now, the issue I have with Tesla for myself is I don't really have any go-to price targets that are really close by that seem obtainable. So that's my other issue with being bearish, is really the closest support that we have on Tesla is all the way down at 655. And it's like, really, is Tesla really going to go to 655? Or are we probably going to go through a little dip by and try to reclaim this and continue higher? So far, the pre-market formation doesn't look great to the bull side, but the long-term charting doesn't look great to the bear side. So intraday doesn't look good on the bull side. Long-term doesn't look good on the bear side. So I'm kind of like, don't know what to do exactly yet. So this is a situation would probably be best for me just to kind of sit back and watch how Tesla trades a little bit for the day. But nonetheless, the trade that I would like the most would be a long. The trade I would like to most likely happen would be a long move, which would be back up to reclaim prices of 724, because I'd rather see Tesla go up than go down at this point. So we'll see what happens, but do make sure you mark off kind of 724 and the 737 as two kind of significant price points. And then other than that, I guess I'll just be trading off the intraday channel for the most part. All right. Next one we'll talk about is ALDX, just briefly, because this was the first pre-market mover squeeze straight up shot stock that we've seen in a long time. We love these. All traders love them. They create volatility to the upside, so you can make it on the way up and you can make it on the way down. It becomes a playground for traders. So we ended up taking a short today, this morning, did a little shorting, but didn't catch it on the top. By the time I even noticed it, it was kind of like in this area. But either way, the price point of 15, 20, and 15, 40 were perfect resistance marks. I'll show you how to get there. You go to the daily chart, you'd look for the one deviation mark, which is that line there, which my lines are a little off, but you'd look for this little line, and then you would go to the 4 hour, and you look for that little line, and it gives you this little pocket, this little price zone. You could say these trend lines are going to be resistance, yada, yada, yada. Anyways, goes up to those price points, hits resistance, swings lower. Don't really think this is going to trade phenomenally on the day, but there is still potential for some range. You have a long way back to true top tick resistance, and you arguably still have a little bit of ways down to the regression trend. So I could see some trading still taking place on this to the bear side. So we're going to be watching ALDX going into the open for right now. A couple other things that we will mention or probably just talk about briefly is NIO. Only reason I want to talk about NIO is because it's still on the long, as we suggested back from here. We said it's time to get long NIO. You can see it's really performed phenomenally since then. It's a very strong trend. This thing on its pullbacks are going to get bought up pretty quickly. So far, the pullbacks are getting bought up every second. So pretty much I'm waiting to get in on a pullback. I traded this from basically here up to here. Thought we would pull back more than this so I could re-dip buy. Guess what? Didn't happen. We continued higher. Story of my life. So now I'm just kind of waiting for a decrease in the share price back to trending support areas to add back long. We'll see if we even get that opportunity. For right now, if in the event we have a random down day from NIO, a great dip buy level would be $40.85. That's really like right now. If NIO sold all the way down, that would be a great dip buy, as well as $38.90. The likelihood it goes to $38.90, not going to happen. The likelihood it goes to $38.90 and then it's a really quick dip buy and the market continues up, no, because that's too big of a drop. But if we pulled back to $40.90, then it's still possible that, I mean, that's even kind of far too, because that would take you below this low here. So even that's a little bit of a stretch. So either way, still, if it came all the way down to here, that's a great dip buy. But for the time being, I don't even really think we're going to get there. So really, even a dip down to, I mean, really, that's the dip buy. I mean, that is. I mean, it's just plain and simple. So anyways, bullish on NIO, overall long bias. We still have targets to hit on the way up. I think we can get back to this previous price top consolidation area, the 46 to 48 price. So I think that's where we're going myself on NIO. All right, next thing we'll talk about is AMD. AMD was a stock that we recommended yesterday as a long play to go to the price of, 1 second, we recommended NIO as a long up to this price yesterday, this white trend line. You can see today, well, we got there yesterday, almost to the T perfectly. So this was our recommended top tick long move and resistance, so you could trade up to and then go short at. That's what we do sometimes. When we have a target that's pretty far away that seems likely that we can get there, we'll look to ride the market long, and then if we want to, we can close out the position as we get there, and then we short the market at it, so then we have a day trade up and a day trade down. So overall, we're still bullish on AMD, just not extremely bullish, okay? We were way more bullish yesterday. Today, we're not really that bullish. Today, it feels like might be a limp day where the market just tries to limp up and you don't really get the significant momentum that you saw the day before. And the reason that is because we've already reached this price target. And then secondly, the next price target up is going to be into this resistance, previous price resistance, and that's at 87.59 to 88.45. So our next little move up we expect could be 87, 80 to 88.40s area. So I think that's going to happen, but I didn't expect that NIO was just going to rip and then just keep running all the way up through this point without a pullback. So I figured the easy obtainable target was to look for AMD back into this 88.50 to 87.70s. And then depending on how well it holds and how much strength it has as it gets into that price point or near it, could give us the decision whether or not to look for more upside or to become a little bit more neutral at the time. All right, so that's AMD. Now what we'll do is take a quick peek at the market so that everyone's kind of caught up to speed there. As you guys can see, all-time highs back when doesn't even matter. Just a couple weeks back, we recommended the SPY would pull back to the 9 moving average when the Nasdaq pulled back, and then we would go back up. So we pulled back to the 9 moving average. We're now pushing higher. Same thing with the Nasdaq. You can see our recommendation was that the pullback here was going to go down to the regression trend, which it did that. That's this white trend line. So when this was going up, we said look for the pullback to the regression trend. That's where your dip by long is. The day that the market was down here, so this was before market up, 9:30, we actually not even 9, like 9 o'clock, we posted a video telling the market is on trend support when it was here. We are now here. Not that that's all that fantastic, but it's because we were on this white trend line. Market was on trend support. That's when you need to be going long. You're not supposed to be going long here. The books tell you to buy breakouts, which can work at times, but that's really, you're supposed to do opposite that. You're supposed to buy the dip, or you're supposed to buy opposite the move that you're currently in. So theoretically, you should be going bearish this move if it were actually on resistance, but it's not. Right? Why do I know it's not? Because look at, well, actually, oh, I lied. It is. This is actually my fault. This is where you should be going bearish. You can see we're right on resistance. I remember marking that off the other day now. You can see that trend right there. And I don't even think this is going to hold very well as resistance. I wouldn't short this move myself. But you can see how we got up to this trend. Let's see what's happening to the price action here. Look at it. After hours, resistance. Goes right up and above, down. Right to down. Right to down. Now it's trading it around. That price level is what creates the after hours high. That price level is what creates your pre-market high. So when you wake up at 9:30 and market open and you're looking at AMD, you're looking at Facebook, you're looking at Tesla, you're looking at anything, you're going to go, oh, it's got a pre-market high of this. If we can get over, it's going to be good, right? The trend line that my cursor is on is what creates that pre-market level that you then look at later to go, that's where the breakout is. So when we're trading, right, the way we do our analysis, we find where these trends are going to be at, and we know that that's a good price level to start getting active around, and then those trend lines and those spots that we start trading at create the pre-market high, right? So when you get a pre-market high breakout and it squeezes a move, you might be squeezing someone that could trade there. So all I'm trying to get at is that these pre-market lows, pre-market highs, they're not random. They exist for a reason. And they exist because people like me and other traders are trading off these trend lines, which end up creating and making the pre-market low and the pre-market high, which then becomes a visual price support or resistance for you later when you're trying to trade near market open. You go and look and say Tesla has a pre-market low of, let's just call it $700. You go, if we can break that, the stock's going to go down. We're the ones that created the dip buy and created that 700 support you see pre-market. And then when you're trying to break it down, if it's still actually on trending support, we're going to be trading up. So it might break a little bit and then go back up. And that's because the trend line that created the 700 bounce might actually be at 695 during market open. So you would put a horizontal price level right at the pre-market low going for a dip buy. And so you'd buy as the price gets there, and then it breaks below, and then maybe you close out, and then it goes back up. And a lot of times that's going to be because the pre-market low was created by us buying a dip there when the trend line was there early pre-market. Okay, and then at market open, the trend line that we were using to buy the dip pre-market now is at 695. So it's actually $5 below where it was pre-market. So you're going to look at the price pre-market of 700 and say that's the dip buy, and we're going to look at the trend, which is actually at 695, and that's where the dip buy is at. So you could go long slightly early, drops down, you stop out, stock rips. So anyways, that right now, NASDAQ, that's kind of the pre-market high level. And actually, I got to get back online with the premium members. So anyways, have a good day, everybody. Hope you guys learned something new there, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care.